Equity Mates, from our mates at Spaceship. Investing made easy.
Welcome to another episode of Equity Mates, our favourite day of the week. My name is Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity buddy, Ren. How's it going, bro?
I'm very good, Bryce. Also my favourite day of the week. We get to sit back and speak to an expert and hear 3 stocks on their watch list. What more can we ask for?
That's it. And it is our pleasure to welcome back to the AusBiz studio here on Equity Mates, Owen Raszkiewicz. Owen, welcome.
Thanks, fellas. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, yes. Owen is the founder of Raszkiewicz, and he is a longtime friend of the show. You must go and check out the work that he's doing on Rask, as well as many of the podcasts that he's running as well. But we are here to chat stocks, 3 that are on your watch list, Owen. And as always, we'll go through the stock, why you like it, what it does if no one's heard of it before, and a bit of a thesis. So we'll start with LaserBond on the ASX. Its ticker is LBL. Small cap in surface engineering. What's the deal?
Yes. So LaserBond is about $100 million market cap. So it's probably the one of my 3 that viewers probably haven't heard of. I'm guessing you guys might have heard of it because you operate in the stock market and you're up to date with a lot of companies. But LaserBond is a really interesting business. So it actually is still predominantly owned by family, and it actually does surface engineering. So let's just break that down, what it actually means. Surface engineering is basically the process of rebuilding or re-engineering the surface of a piece of equipment. So if you think about like one of those big Caterpillar trucks at a mine site, or you think about a conveyor belt, think about all the components that go into that. It's not something you can just go down to your local Bunnings store and I'll just get, go and get a bearing for this wheel for my new truck. That's not the way it works. So the key thing to remember with LaserBond is it actually creates products to their original specifications and sometimes up to 10 times better using sophisticated engineering techniques. They have manufacturing sites across the eastern seaboard of Australia, and they look like they're going to expand into WA because there are a lot of big mining clients over there, but also into Queensland. I see some opportunities there. So it's a $100 million company. What's really interesting about it and what we like is that the business has gone from just effectively repairing equipment for customers to now licensing its technology and its know-how. So basically it said, we are experts in Australia at this, surface engineering, what we do. How can we expand overseas? And the easiest way for the business to do that is basically to license its know-how and its technology to customers and to partners in the United States and also in Europe. And it started to win some of those deals. And the really important part about this is that it's gone from being a kind of capital-intensive business to being one that just licenses know-how, which is great for margins. So this is a business that's effectively underpinned by repairing manufacturing equipment, by creating like new products and replacement parts for these machinery, for this machinery and these devices. But then it's the third pillar, which is the really exciting growth element, which is the licensing of the technology. So there's lots to go for LaserBond. Founder alignment, skin in the game, profitable, growing, good balance sheet. For a small cap company, it's one to watch.
Nice one, Owen. That's a good one. LaserBond, ASX ticker LBL. I'm sure many people will have just heard about it for the first time. If we move to the second stock on your watch list, I'm pretty confident most people will have heard of this stock before. Bryce and I here at Equity Mates use the software. Bryce more than me because he has told me in no uncertain terms that he wants to be the accountant at Equity Mates. But the company,
Not true.
The company is Xero, ASX ticker XRO, famous for accounting software. It's rare that you become famous for accounting software. So the company's doing something right.
Excel.
For people who don't know the company, Can you give us a brief overview about what it does and then tell us why it's on your watch list?
Yeah, sure. Okay, got it. Bryce is the accountant. So I'll pitch to Bryce then.
No,
So
Xero's the
basically,
accountant. Xero's the accountant.
Well, so let's be honest. So Xero is a piece of software that you get that effectively maximizes the time that an accountant has to spend on your account. So let's say you're a small business or a medium business like Equity Mates, let's say, and you need a tool that can take your receipts in, can process all of your, I guess, inventory if you have that, or it can do your accounts payable, your accounts receivable, monitor your cash flow, send you signals if things aren't going right. And it can even help you pay staff, pay superannuation, those types of things. So that's what Xero is best known for. And the business started in New Zealand, as you guys know, then expanded into Australia. Both of these markets, Xero dominates. So I guess predicting the success of Xero in New Zealand and Australia is pretty much a no-brainer. It has won these markets. The key frontier for Xero right now is in the UK, where the financial system and the tax system is eerily similar to what it is here in Australia. And over there, that's actually taking strides. It is eating the pie, it is eating the cake of Sage, which is the incumbent business there. But what's really interesting to know about Xero, and I think this is what quite a few people actually miss and quite a few analysts actually miss, is that it's probably not going to come close to winning in the USA. So some investors have it in their thesis that Xero will win the USA, but we tend to think not. There's a big business in the USA called Intuit. If you look up Intuit, I think it goes by the ticker code INTU. And that is a business like Xero that has just dominated its market, its homegrown market, which is the USA. But outside of that, Xero can still win via its three core markets, but also by adding on functionality like HR, extra features for payroll. Single touch payroll is what it's done most recently. If you logged into your Xero recently, Bryce, you would have seen that maybe JobKeeper and different types of subsidies were available through Xero. And we see Xero playing a much bigger role in the ecosystem for financial planners and small business. Some of the key facts that I just looked up before I jumped on the call was that our valuation has Xero between $120 and $135 a share, which is marginally below the current share price. But one thing to be mindful of is when we recommended Xero, I think the valuation that we had on it was about $58. So this is quite a while ago. But over time, the valuation has actually crept up as it's continually, pound the pavement and beat the thesis that we put in front of it. And we see no end in sight for Xero in that respect. And the business is only now starting to gush free cash flow. So we like it. It's a business I own, so happy to keep holding.
Oh, and on Xero, you mentioned Intuit, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but their accounting product is QuickBooks. They're obviously big in the US, Xero big in Australia, hopefully one day big in the UK. How do you think about that competitive dynamic of, obviously Xero is trying to win in the US, but is Intuit trying to expand into the UK, into Australia, into New Zealand? And if they go head to head here on their home court, why do you think Xero can beat Intuit?
Yeah, so this is a fantastic question, Ren. It's actually one that we've asked since the beginning of owning Xero. And I think one of the things that's really interesting about Xero is it's basically as good as Intuit, no matter where you kind of compare it. So if you're comparing it in the US, the UK, or Australia, it's as good as, if not better than, any of the software that's available in the market. So one of the things that Xero does is beautiful accounting software. That's the tagline, as you know. And so I think the reason that QuickBooks launched its cloud-based service in Australia wasn't because it thought that Australia was the market that it had to compete in. I think it was just to compete against Xero to see how it fared. And so I think that's an interesting dynamic. You've got this behemoth of a company from the US competing in Australia, probably because they just wanted to see how they go. In Australia, if you want an anecdote, in Australia, QuickBooks software is actually cheaper than Xero, yet Xero is still growing faster than anyone else. So I think that kind of, the accountant always says, look at the bottom line to figure out how your business is going. And Xero is winning here in Australia, all the while QuickBooks has been here. So, and it's cheaper. So I think, it's a great question. It's a great point, something you want to monitor closely. I think in this instance, there's no reason why you couldn't own both companies in a portfolio.
So Owen, to close out, usually those that come on here give us some small to mid caps, but you're going to close out with a mega cap in Apple. The ticker is AAPL. What's the thesis here? Why is it on your watch list?
Yeah, so we've gone from a tiny Australian small cap all the way up to the world's biggest company, which is Apple. So obviously the creator of many devices that you know and use, the iPhone, the Mac, the iPad, which is what I'm recording this on right now. This is a company that has traditionally been known for hardware. So ever since Steve Jobs' days, launching the iPhone in 2007, right up until today with the iPhone 12 and 12 Max, it's clearly the best smart device in the world. And I don't just say that because it's got over 1 billion users of the iPhone. It actually is in terms of functionality, and we're starting to see that play out now in terms of privacy with the current CEO, Tim Cook, constantly banging on about how much better the privacy is and the security of the devices. And that has been proven over many years. The real secret sauce behind Apple, and this is a point of contention amongst analysts, and it's somewhere where I think we've got an edge at Rask, which is that the key behind Apple is not its hardware. Even though I just said it's the best, smartphone, iPad, or tablet, it's the best laptop, it's the best desktop in the market. That's actually not the key jewel in this crown. The jewel in the crown of Apple is its subscriptions and its services business. So this is things like the App Store, the iCloud, all of these different things that you don't really notice that's going on underneath the surface until you're paying it and you realize, hey, I can't access my photos on my iPhone until I pay $1.49 every month to Apple. And the key here is that over the next 5 years, we actually forecast that services revenue, so all of the software and subscriptions that Apple offers, all of that is actually going to make up about 73% of the overall revenue, which is in stark contrast to what it was in 2007, say, when it was basically 100% hardware. And so over the next 5 years, we see a dramatic shift in this business. And the key point here is that the margin that the business earns on the services side of its business will blow away the margin that it earns on hardware, which is already very respectable, I think, in the 40 to 50% range. So this is a business that's already $2.2 trillion US in market capitalization. It's got a lot of cash. It's got some debt. It's just incredible free cash flow. But it's what it's doing with that free cash flow, which is really impressive. Over 500 million paying subscribers to Apple subscriptions at the moment, and it's within its runway to see that hitting 1 billion users. So lots more free cash flow coming in as a result of higher margins in the services business.
So Owen, you said there that the services business is going to be almost 3/4 of Apple's revenue in a few years. It's currently $2.2 trillion market cap, biggest company in the world. How big do you think this market cap's going to get? Have you projected that out?
We haven't projected. I don't have the numbers on hand, Ren, but I would say that, what tends to happen is that as a business gets more profitable, the valuation multiple actually expands. So what we will see is that as the business becomes higher quality, which is pretty crazy to think that this business could become higher quality, we'll see that market cap expand even further. I think just in closing, one part of this, one of the risks that people see with Apple is that the business will be broken up because it's going to be so profitable. And if that does happen, you've got to remember that as a shareholder, you will just get, a part of each business. So it's not like they disappear. The second thing is that we tend to be scared off by large numbers, but the market cap is really just an arbitrary figure. It's not necessarily the number itself; it's how it changes over time. So we use discounted cash flow analysis to get to our valuations. We currently suggest that on an enterprise value to discounted cash flow, it's slightly above our fair value, but again, you're paying a modest price, or just a slightly higher price for a very high quality business that we think still has quite a few years left.
$3 trillion on the horizon. We'll soon see. Well, Owen, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. LaserBond, ASX, LBL, Xero, ASX, XRO, and Apple is on the NASDAQ AAPL. 3 stocks on your watch list. We were absolutely looking forward to coming down and having a longer form conversation at the live podcast festival down in Melbourne, but sadly, I imagine that is not going to necessarily be the case at the moment, but very much looking forward to getting together when we can to discuss more stocks in a bit more detail. But thank you for your time today.
Thanks, guys, and stay safe.
Thank you. And that's the end of another episode, another Watchlist Wednesday. 3 great stocks from Owen. If you'd like more information on what we're doing at Equity Mates, head to equitymates.com. We do have many other Watchlist Wednesdays available on the AusBiz website on demand or on our YouTube channel as well. So if you'd like to go back and get some more inspiration, absolutely go and do that. And Ren, tomorrow we're having a look at ETFs.
That's it. We are now in FY22. It's a new financial year. A good point to reflect on the year that was. We came out of COVID. The market came out of COVID. The world is still working its way out. But ETFs had an unbelievable year. And we're going to be breaking it all down with Mark Montford tomorrow and AusBiz Regular, who I'm sure many listeners are familiar with. So join us, same time, same place, as we look back on the year that was and look forward for what's in store this year in the ETF market.
Nice.
Equity Mates, from our mates at Spaceship. Investing made easy.